Walmart dominates American grocery. Its scale is almost hard to process. Its stores are everywhere, its logistics are relentless, and for millions of shoppers, it still feels like the default answer to one simple question: where do you go when you need low prices fast? So why is one of the most credible threats to that empire coming from a chain built on smaller stores, fewer products, no-frills interiors, and shopping carts that require a quarter? Because Aldi is not trying to beat Walmart by being bigger. It is trying to make big look expensive. And in the most price-sensitive part of American retail, that is not a gimmick. That is a serious strategy. This is not really a story about Aldi replacing Walmart, at least not in the obvious sense. It is a story about something quieter and maybe more realistic: whether Aldi can change where Americans go first when budgets get tight. Because if enough households begin to think of Aldi as the smartest place to start a grocery trip before they think of Walmart, then the balance shifts. Not all at once, not with some dramatic collapse, but in the way retail power usually moves: slowly, habit by habit, trip by trip, basket by basket. And once that shift begins, the real question is no longer whether Walmart is still bigger. It is whether Aldi has started changing the rules. Aldi can look like a sudden American success story. It is not. Its discount roots trace back to Germany, and the Aldi business split into Aldi South and Aldi Nord in 1961. Aldi US belongs to the Aldi South side. Its first American store opened in Iowa in 1976. For years, Aldi was present in the US without feeling central to the national conversation. It was efficient, it was disciplined, but it was still easy to underestimate. Then the backdrop changed. As grocery prices rose and households felt pressure, the things that once made Aldi seem limited started to look much more attractive. Small store, faster trip, less choice, less confusion, private label, lower prices, no extra frills, if the total at checkout feels better. That is when Aldi stopped looking like a niche operator and started looking like a model built for the exact mood of the market. Aldi's advantage is not just that it sells cheap groceries. Its real advantage is that the business was built to remove cost at almost every layer. The stores are smaller than a typical supermarket. The assortment is dramatically tighter. Products are often displayed right in their shipping cases. Customers bag their own groceries. And more than 90% of Aldi's core range is private label. That combination matters more than it sounds. Private label gives Aldi more control. The smaller footprint lowers operating complexity. The tighter selection reduces decision overload for shoppers and inventory headaches for the business. And the faster store flow means Aldi can do more with less labor, less space, and less visual clutter. This is not a chain trying to impress shoppers with endless variety. It is a chain trying to make the weekly grocery trip feel ruthlessly efficient. And if enough customers decide that efficiency feels smart, not cheap, then Aldi becomes much more dangerous than it looks. Then Aldi took that efficient model and started scaling it much harder. In 2024, the company said it planned to add 800 new stores in the United States by the end of 2028. In early 2026, Aldi said it expected to operate nearly 2,800 US stores by the end of that year, moving closer to a 3,200 store goal by the end of 2028. But the most important part was not just the number, it was the method. Aldi used acquisition to accelerate geography. Its Southeastern Grocers deal opened the door to Winn-Dixie and Harvey's locations, and even after around 170 stores were sold back in 2025, Aldi said it still planned to convert roughly 220 of those locations to the Aldi format by 2027. That is when this stopped looking like normal store growth. Because opening a new store is one thing, using existing real estate to speed up market penetration is something else. That is how a disciplined operator starts to look aggressive. But this is where the clean underdog story starts to break. Because Aldi is not attacking a confused market, and it is not attacking a weak incumbent. It is attacking Walmart. Walmart still has the broader offer, the bigger network, and the much stronger one-stop shop advantage. It can sell groceries, household basics, electronics, apparel, seasonal goods, and more in a single trip. It can serve shoppers in-store, online, through pickup, and through delivery. And grocery is not a side business for Walmart. It is central to the machine. So yes, Aldi can win on simplicity. It can win on tight baskets. It can win on shoppers who want a fast, disciplined, low-friction grocery run. But replacing Walmart as the universal retail default, that is much harder. Because the exact thing that makes Aldi efficient, less space, less assortment, less complexity, is also what makes Walmart harder to fully replace. This is the real strategic divide. Aldi and Walmart are both associated with low prices, but they are not offering the same kind of value. Walmart sells breadth, Aldi sells discipline. Walmart tells the customer, "Come here and get almost everything." Aldi tells the customer, "Come here for the essentials, move faster, make fewer decisions, and probably spend less if our mix fits your life." That is not a small difference. That is the difference between a generalist and a specialist. And that means Aldi does not need to beat Walmart on everything. It only needs to become the smarter first stop for enough families in enough markets. If it wins the easiest trips, milk, eggs, produce, pantry basics, routine weekly staples, then Walmart can still stay number one and still feel real pressure. Because retail does not always shift through dramatic collapse. Sometimes it shifts through repeated small decisions that become habit. And once habit changes, market share tends to follow. And there is one more layer to this story. Aldi is expanding at a moment when price sensitivity is not just a recession behavior or a low-income behavior. It is mainstream. That changes the meaning of trust. Because in grocery, low-price trust is not only built through size, it can also be built through consistency. Aldi's promise is narrower, but it is easier to repeat. Smaller store, smaller promise, smaller choice set. But if the shopper leaves feeling smarter every time, then simplicity stops looking basic. It starts looking reliable. That creates a debatable question for the future. If American households keep watching every grocery dollar, does Walmart remain the default low-price giant? Or does Aldi become the more trusted low-price specialist? That may be the most important part of the battle, because specialists can reshape markets long before they overtake them. So, is Germany's Aldi really taking on Walmart in the US? Yes, but not by trying to become Walmart. Aldi's strategy is narrower than that, and maybe smarter than that. It is trying to win the everyday grocery trip with focus, repetition, and a model that strips away almost everything except value. Walmart still has the fortress, the bigger footprint, the broader ecosystem, the stronger one-stop advantage. But Aldi does not need to dominate America to matter. If it keeps expanding, keeps converting stores, and keeps training customers to start their shopping trip in a different place, it can force pressure onto the exact part of Walmart's business that matters most. And in retail, pressure like that does not always look dramatic at first. Sometimes it just looks small, right up until it looks obvious. Maybe Aldi is not Walmart's replacement. Maybe it is something more realistic and more dangerous. The company that teaches millions of Americans to shop differently. You've watched Triumphs and Troubles. Subscribe to the channel for true business stories and comment, which company should we cover next?